Everyone, this is Jed. This is
Hi.
I know Jed through motorbikes, but also, ironically, he's into advertising. Well, I used to work as an AD at Monkeys, so I know him through that as well. And also does illustration and tats and architecture. Actually, he'll talk about that a bit later. But he does go architecture. Everyone, Jed.
Hi, how's it going? Hi. Just before I dive in, I've had a couple of beers because I'm very nervous. So if I stutter or hey,
Want some more? We got more.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I will have another beer. If there's one going. Yeah, we used to do these. I suppose it's like a creative inspiration, get everybody excited type thing. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that okay, so we used to do these at Monkeys, and I was the fucking guy in the corner going, "This is bullshit. I don't give a shit, whatever." So now, but as soon as Andrew asked if I wanted to do it, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to talk about myself for an hour. How good is that? I love myself. It's great." So I don't know. I suppose background is that a good way to go? I was an advertising guy. Sort of came to it from just studying and did it for about 10 years. Never was always had, I'm sure everyone has a love, maybe some people love it, but I have a massive love-hate thing with advertising. It's creativity, but it's fucking sucking it up and bending over for a client a lot of the time, and you know what I mean. But the good part of it is the challenge of a brief. I'm assuming it's the same for you guys, right? The challenge of a brief. And I don't know, I did it for 10 years at Saatchi & Saatchi, BMF and the Monkeys, sort of 3-4 years at each one, and it was, I was always an illustrator before I did the advertising side of it, and it just got to a point where I needed an out from advertising, and I wanted to try something different, I guess, and I like tattoos and I could draw, so it was, and I had a few punky mates and they were like, "Tattoo me, we get drunk or whatever," and that's kind of how
What
I
could
got
possibly
started.
go wrong?
Exactly. And I think what happened is sort of Christmas 2012, I'd done about 3 continuous weeks with no weekends working on an art direction for a campaign, and working with a CD who's amazing, but he drove me to the edge, and after 3 weeks I just went, "Fuck this, I'm going home," right? And I took basically 3 days off, and because what happened is so I'm going to swear a lot, it ended up, I went through 3 weeks of doing this art direction, look and feel, and then I knew the very first one I did was the one, after 10 years of doing it, you're like, I know what I'm doing, I'm not a hack. I was like, this is what you should go with. Sure enough, 3 weeks later, I did all this work, weekends, horrible, and then he sort of went, "Oh, you know what, I think you were right with the first one." So I was just like, that's it, I'm out, and I quit in the next week or whatever, and decided I was going to do something else full time. So that's kind of my story or whatever.
Awesome.
I was looking at some of these this morning, and I used to think I was so good at advertising, but I think they're not as good as I remember. But let's. Do you want to have a look at an ad or whatever I did, or is that yeah? The sort of probably the most famous one I ever did was this guy's a Tui's Extra Dry one, and it was kind of weird. When I was doing advertising, I didn't really care about the brief. I just wanted to do some weird and entertaining sort of I was like, "Fuck the client, I just want to do fun, weird shit." So this was basically, do you have sound? Is there?
Yeah, it should be sound.
Yeah? Okay. I think it's pretty low res, so if you get bored, just stop it or whatever.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah, technical difficulties.
No, actually, it's a Wi-Fi connection.
So this is a dream brief, and this was pretty early on in my career too, 2007 or whatever, and basically they just gave a kid $2 million to do whatever he wants, and said weirder the better, and make it esoteric and challenging. So that was kind of the brief, which is I haven't had that again.
Was it before or after what's her name, Carlton Draft running in the mountains there?
I haven't seen
Big
that.
Ad, you know?
Oh, Big Ad?
Yeah.
I think it was after Big Ad, yeah. Big Ad's. So I was like, I mean, it was kind of weird, but the brief was basically, you want either people to hate it or love it. It doesn't have to make sense, but they got to remember it. And this is, I don't know, 8 years ago, and I heard it, you remember it because you're like, I fucking hate that ad, or I like that ad. So that was like that was a good brief.
What was it? I've always wanted to ask this question.
Yeah.
What was it about the marketing department in the Carlton or?
That's Lime Nathan, yeah.
What are they just trying to outdo the other beer guys?
What do you mean with a brief like that? I think when you're marketing at a savvy audience is your 18 to 25 year olds, right? And that's Extra Dry, that's their, and they'd already done an ad before this, the tongue one, which was kind of like some people loved it, some people hated it. So I don't know, I think it's along the lines of as long as you stand out, that's all that matters.
So it wasn't a particularly advanced marketing department, or it was just simply like you guys do your crazy shit and stand out.
I think so. I think it was just like the cool thing about beer advertising. Like we did blind taste testing with beers and stuff, and when it comes to it, people actually don't know the difference between taste. So what you're drinking every time, it's true. And we drank 16 beers, didn't know it. No one could tell. So you're only drinking a brand, right? So with something like that, you just pitch it in a spot that is so unique. Most advertising in Australia for beer is like, I'm a BB man, kind of or it's making fun of the gender, like men do this to their girlfriends' wives. You know what I mean? It's like this same sort of, so the angle, which I think the planner for this was awesome. Like he knew that you could pitch it somewhere completely different, and it was like probably the only ad that I've ever done that was actually successful, right? That actually sold a shit ton of beer. You know what I mean? So I guess that's proof that weird or something that stands out works.
Interesting.
Do you want to see another ad or okay? Now, I was kind of a few years ago. Everyone was like into the Skittles, Old Spice kind of. That was kind of my shit, right? So we did this ad. It was just before the Old Spice came out. I don't know. I still like it. I can't tell if it's good or if I just like it. So I like it, but it's basically the brief was there's a new smoothie in town. So the old smoothie's pissed off.
I hear there's a new smoothie in town. Berry and fruit, eh? Well, on a scale of 1 to me, that's about an 8.
Stupid, but it was fun because, whenever I shot an ad or whatever like that, I hate computer generated stuff. So all the stuff in it we did in camera. So when he slides across the thing, we had a rig and all this kind of stuff. He basically broke his hip because he cracked into the thing so many times. But I was like, in camera, it has to be in camera.
Please, Jen.
No. Okay, I don't know.
Automotive?
Well, okay. Case studies. I hate showing case studies. All right. This is for Ice Break, which is like an iced coffee kind of tradie drink or whatever. And we had a brief from them. We've done 2 automotive campaigns. The first one, it was basically these guys drink it for breakfast and that's what gets them through the day. So the thinking was that the drink adds a motor to their day. But where it came from was actually all these guys, tradies, our target, the very blue collar, they're all petrol heads, which I am as well. So it was basically add a motor to it, add a motor to you. It's a tenuous link, but what we did is we had I think it was about a $300,000 budget to shoot a TVC, but we pitched to them to do a real, an online series because these guys are all online, they don't really watch ads much anymore anyway. We pitched to do a series about, I suppose it's a documentary about people who'd added motors to weird shit, actually done it. So maybe I'll play the case study. This is very sort of 2005 case study, but get the idea. But we did some cool stuff with it, and we shot it all ourselves.
This is Icebreak. It had been running 30-second commercials since the 90s. This year, fans watched and shared more than 30 minutes of content. It might look like a simple iced coffee, but to Aussie blokes, it's a motor to get them through the day. So we turned this product benefit into an online series, celebrating Australians who added motors to stuff.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I put a military jet engine on a Daihatsu Mira.
To launch the series, we built a couch.
Fastest piece of furniture in history.
El aeropuerto de Sydney en Australia.
And I'm going to be giving that little thing a run for its money.
And overnight, it built an audience. They gave us suggestions, and we gave them a show. Add a motor to it ran for 7 weeks. Our fans created the ads that appeared in the show. They played the theme song more than 2,500 times. And with an add a motor to a gadget, thousands of people made their crappy car sound like a roaring V8. One bloke even added a motor to a bottle of Icebreak. Legend. In the first 3 weeks, visitors spent an average 14 minutes on the add a motor to a channel, with a campaign average of 8.5
Okay, yeah, everybody loved it, whatever. Don't know, you fudged that stuff, but it was pretty popular. Like the cool thing that we did was we broke a Guinness World Record, and I mean, you get the tone. It's very homemade. It's very for bogans like who are on their phones all the time. And like everything we did in house. It had no money. Like everyone you see, like it's my hand. We shot it. I got my mate to write the theme song, which I think is the best thing about the whole campaign. You know, like it was kind of fun. We wrote all the dialogue. It was kind of, I guess, a little bit like Top Gear, but you know, shit. Yeah, but it was fun, and it actually did really well for him. Well, we heard. And then for the second season of it, it sort of got a little bit pretentious, I think, because we got a little bit more money, and we had a creative director who just wanted to do art house shit. But basically, it was like, what do you do after you add a motor to it? Is you fucking drag race it, of course, you know that. So basically, stop me if I'm being boring, because I'm not sure. The second season, we basically, all we had to do was a promo. They were like, you can't do any advertising. You have to, what we do is prizes sell products, so you have to have a promo, and that was the brief for us, and we had to, all the money had to be directed. So we're like, normally they'd given away like a Holden Ute for 10 years basically, and that's what drives a lot of product, and we were like, that's bullshit. Imagine if you actually gave away something cool, like the audience. I just pretended the audience was me, so we picked these 4 70s muscle cars, and that's what we were going to give away, and then it was basically, we had them customised and decided to race some topic against each other. It was kind of this era where it was all about audience participation and whatever. So anyway, you saw these are like, I love the viral videos. These were the viral videos to get the cars out there. So I'll play, are you bored yet? I'll play 2 of these. Yeah, you want to see them? Okay.
Charger. Charger.
Well, I like this one because the song's better. But so this was Kung Fu versus, so we raced topics, Kung Fu versus sci-fi. Oh, why is it? That's weird. Okay.
That was weird.
So this is basically just a nice way to get the promo cars out to the audience. That's basically it. Sci-fi.
What was your budget for the cars?
30k each.
30k each.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Retarded. when there's a bit more money thrown at something, it just looks a bit better, you know. Like, yeah, it was cool to do. Like, yeah. Do you want to see another one of those or something else? Yeah. Let's do this is like, you know, you got to think these are like dudes and they want to see drum solos and drum. This guy was a beast on the drums. He was ridiculous. So the cars are personifications of one of those things. Got it?
These are cars that could make.
These are the cars that got one. You'd rather that than a bloody, you know, right?
Do they still have all the custom stuff in it?
No, we took it off and brought them back to original, yeah. So there's a whole sort of like voting process, you decide on the cakes, all this kind of user interaction kind of stuff that was in vogue, I guess, at the time. Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of some of the ad stuff that I've done. It's great talking about me. So yeah, so I mean, fed up with all that, so I decided I was gonna start tattooing. I don't know, where do we go from here? What's the process?
Let's talk about Sophie's legs.
Ask me some questions. Yeah, I don't know. So after that, I could just show you ads the whole time. That'd be easier.
Maybe start with it. So show us some earlier stuff, because
yeah,
if you were doing that.
Okay, I'll just go through my Tumblr or whatever. This is just some of the. This is like Flash. Oh, I never missed a post. I love this guy. Yeah, this is how I work now. Usually I do a bunch of illustrations and people come choose it, or they give me a brief for a tattoo or whatever. I'm obscenely colourblind, so I pitch it like I only do black and white because that's all I'm comfortable doing as well. Like, that's why all my ads are graded really badly. Yeah, and I don't know, I'll just run through some of this stuff. Yeah. I'm into bikes, clearly.
How long have you been tattooing for?
I started probably about 3 years ago, and I just had heaps of dodgy mates who were like, tattoo me, you know, sort of punky. They just wanted free tattoos, so I was happy to just learn on them. Exactly, and like when you start tattooing, it's not that you like when you tattoo, it's very hard to do it. Like jagged lines happen, you can't slip. You've actually got to really stick it in, but it's more like you're not brutal enough and it doesn't go deep, so you have to redo the tattoo a few times. So I've had mates who have had to tattoo the same tattoo, 3 times. Like, so that's the learning. Good practice, and that I was like, it's free, bro, and just so I mean, yeah, I don't know, my sort of aesthetic, I guess, when I do this stuff, I picture myself like in Sydney in particular. There's like it's old school. Like this real colourful Sailor Jerry kind of stuff. Just been, it's great. I like it. And then there's like super realistic, but there's no there's no abstract or like art or design or graphic sort of based stuff in between. There is everywhere else in the world. I just feel like Sydney's kind of new school. Or like I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because it's my own stuff. But like there's, I don't know. Like I still feel like you can have an old aesthetic without having to be a particular type of tattoo. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a mix of, I guess, etched drawing kind of stuff, but like old world themes and art effects like stippling and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not the first guy to do that. There's you've seen that one before, yeah. So I'm basically just a culmination of influences in that front as well. Just as you are as a designer, as an advertising person, you take what you know and what you've grown up with and the pop culture references you have, and you sort of filter it through yourself and rebirth it, right? I mean, I don't know. That's waiting time, but I don't know.
Any problems with bikies?
Well, I mean,
you're paying the standover money.
No, I just tattoo out of my place, and like I feel like I haven't had any problems yet because I'm a total hard cunt and they're scared of me. You know, like, so I feel like I'm fine on that front. No, I mean, I think if you're starting your own shop, like, and you're doing, I do maybe 3-4 tattoos a week, sometimes 5, and you know, I'm not taking anybody's business away really, and you know, I don't. There might be other tattooists in Sydney who are doing a similar thing, but I don't think there is. So it's not like I'm not stepping on toes. Yeah, and I'm so like I'm, you know.
Probably best if you do that at home, mate.
Is it a real problem? Obviously.
You know what? I've only heard secondary, so I haven't had any personal experience. Like I do keep a little machete next to my door, okay? Like, I'm probably never like. I think it's more to give myself courage than I would never use it. But I peek through the thing and I'm like. But most people who are coming to me are like, they're designers and people who are like have a bit more. I feel like they want a little something different from what's out there, and maybe it's just my ego that says I'm doing something different.
So how do people hear about you?
Well, as soon as I quit advertising in 2012, I was like, I'm gonna have to sign up for Facebook and Instagram and all that, and I did all that, and it's like it's slowly like I'm still I've got like 710 followers. I'm not like I'm blown up, so I'm not like the shit hot new guy, but it's like it started as friends of friends and people who a lot of people don't want to go to a shop because it's like a horrible environment, and they don't fucking care about you. The people you get, they're like, okay, what do you want? Like I've been so it's like I'd rather come in and play some music that I want to hear and be nice and like actually have a proper rapport with someone that you're going to be giving a piece of art for the rest of their life. So I don't know. That's kind of the angle that I'm taking with it. Is that why?
Was that the experience you had?
It was.
Yeah.
Did I treat you good? Did I?
Really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I hurt you for a couple of hours, of course.
But music and everything.
There you go. Like
it's a little thing.
You should be able to come in, have a beer, get some pain. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this is the kind of stuff I like doing. You can see the ones that have gone bonkers. I put a little watermark on because it's like I need the advertising. It's funny how when you start your own business, like it used to be, it's like advertising, and then as soon as it's like your own business, you're like, can you give me some? I need to get out there, like spread the word. So the ones that have got like a few thousand hits or whatever, I definitely put a watermark on. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Did you bring your
I brought a machine just to show.
I called it a gun. I even Googled it to make sure I was using the right terminology, and he shot me down. He said guns kill people.
Yeah, well, look, hey, I used to call it a gun. I don't know.
You did a really bad tattoo. You probably killed someone.
Probably. I mean, I've given everybody AIDS, so but it's treatable now. So don't worry about it. Do you got this is a machine. You want to see a machine? I don't know. This is like show and tell, right? So basically, a tattoo machine is a doorbell from 100 years ago. They haven't changed. It's what you do. I was going to set one up. Is you attach? It's basically a current, and it's a little spring that bounces off. The current gets sent through the whole lot, and it just bounces off the spring when the electricity goes through it. So I'll set it up. And I'll show you. This is
It genuinely does look 100 years old.
Yeah, I mean they have the two types of machines. This is a coil machine, so it uses electricity to bounce against a spring, and that's what creates the in out. want of a better word. And then they have a rotary machine, which is basically a toothbrush motor that sort of goes like
with
that, and it goes around, and that's the
like
prison
a sewing
style.
machine.
Yeah, like a sewing
Prison
machine.
style.
But the thing is, like what you learn, like it's very when you start to learn tattooing, there's a lot. Like I thought it's like it's like drawing, but you know more painful. It's so not. There's much more to it. Like how far you got to stick it in and all that sort of stuff.
Are you literally dipping in ink?
Yeah, it hasn't become more advanced than that. It doesn't feed the ink or anything like that. So
how long is it? Like a pen and a nib? Like do you get just a?
So what happens here? I'll just show you. You guys are all coming to get tattooed after this, right?
Yeah.
I haven't had too many.
Sorry guys, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah. That was the deal. You know, I gotta eat. I gotta eat my fucking shit. Basically, this one's broke. But basically, the tip when you dip it in, it gets filled up with ink. So and then you.
Oh right, between the needle and the sheath.
Yeah, that bit there, between there and there. This is called the tip.
Oh right. I thought you were literally just relying on the ink that you got on the.
No.
So it is sort of like a
Yeah. So yeah, that's hey.
Bang! Awesome.
It's pretty basic. Like you could create it. You wouldn't even need this. You could get a bit of pen ink from in there. Use this, and I could do a tattoo on you right now. It's very easy.
Do it. Face tattoo.
Back to the old Maori stuff.
I'm seeing a very simple like a martini glass. What do you think?
Get that.
Excellent.
Yeah, I really love the homemade feel of it. I expect.
Well, I mean, so this one's like a real expensive machine. Like,
all right.
Yeah, this is and it's like bikes, right? They're it's like the patina and all this, but that's a $400 machine. That one, yeah. And this is by one of the most famous tattooists there are, and it broke. So, yeah.
Good quality.